Hey everyone, my name is Joseph and welcome to my channel. Now, this is going to be an experiment, so I really hope you can enjoy. I have found this episode of Dr. Phil. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the full episode. I just found clips. Like I said, I just found clips of the episode. So there are 4 clips. I believe I got them into the right sequence of events that occurred on Dr. Phil. So every now and then I am going to pause and give my critiques. Now the story is about this family. This guy had a child with this woman, and for some reason this child is basically, when he's with his mother basically dresses him up as a female, as a girl, because that's where he claims to be. But then when he's at his father's, he just is what he wants to be, a little boy. And the reason why I brought this up is because there had been a case where actually just like this one, where the father is fighting with the mother about the treatment of the kid, how the kid doesn't want to be a girl when he's around his dad, but wants to be a girl when he's around his mom. And a lot of times we've seen stuff like this where the kid is pleasing the parents. Now, the father claims to say, you know what, if he wants to dress that way, I'm not going to stop him. I'm not going to stop him dressing like a girl. But the boy doesn't show, and had never shown with him any desire to do so. And when a psychologist that have sat him down and put 2 pieces of paper in front of him, one says Luna, the other says the boy's name, I think it was James. And when the father was around, the boy would pick James. When the mother is around, the boy will pick Luna. Now, a lot of people will probably demean the man and claim that, oh, he's a bigot, he's a fascist, this, that, and the third. However, here's the problem is, what if the mother wanted a daughter but instead got a son? So basically, we have this issue of communication. The mother is claiming the father is not doing the right thing. So, and basically this case is so similar that I believe it needs to be addressed. So, without further ado, here we go.
My 6-year-old daughter Bella is smart. She's very independent. She's really sassy.
Sassy lady.
She marches to the beat of her own drum, and she was born as my son James. By 3 years old, James was showing a preference for things that were pink, sparkly, hearts, dolls. Which one do you want? Pink one?
We had some accessories.
Yeah. James verbalized that he wanted to be a girl and that it was time to let him change his name. He said, I want to be called Isabella. Did you like being a boy?
No.
Did you ever feel comfortable being a boy?
No.
I do not believe that this is a phase for Bella. We have always had consistent, persistent verbalization of this is who I am and this is who I want to be. Do you want the boa or anything?
Both. You can use it as my hair.
The hardest part is that my parents and my brother refused to accept that James is now Bella.
Well, Carly says she hasn't seen her family in 10 months because they just won't accept Bella with pink hair, pink dresses, or pink nail polish. Now, Carly says they've even called CPS on her and her husband Bradley, screaming child abuse.
My parents and my brother believe that allowing her to transition is child abuse.
It's because it's child abuse! What the crud? I'm sorry, people. But I'm sorry, just trying to wrap my head around this. You are saying that a 4-year-old knows what he or she wants. No. So if your child decides that, oh, well, you know what? It's time to stop eating healthy and it's time to eat mostly sweets throughout the day. Are you going to let him do that? No, because for one thing, that'll rot his teeth. 2, that'll make him have too much energy, and it's not good for his mental health. Now, here's the problem is, for one thing, I do apologize, everyone. Apparently, this was video 1. This was the first clip I should have put in here. So the clips are not in any particular order. I do apologize about that. So, but besides that, this blows my mind because even in the previous videos, if he wants to dress up, just let him dress up because he's experimenting. He's basically, especially with a most likely a younger female sister, he's experimenting who he is. Actually, no, the sister's I don't know how old the sister actually is, so forgive me. But still, the girl, he just wants to know who he is. So he's playing around. I played with girl toys. So what? Heck, I remember my sister used to strip her girl toys. I'm just like, what the crud? Point being is, you cannot do this to your kid because what if 5 years down the road, he changes his mind and wants to be a boy? Guess what? You have stunted his growth so bad. And not really stunt his growth necessarily, but basically emasculated him and sterilized him to the point where he cannot reproduce anymore. You basically are going to take this child's manlyhood away before he even got a taste of what it is to be a man. And you never know. He could grow out. He may grow out of this. If he decides to grow out of this within a year or two, or even whether it's from 1 to 5 years from now or longer, if he grows out of this, he is going to look at you and be angry at you, be bitter, because he's only going with what you want him to go with. It's like, come on, lady, open your eyes, see the truth. And that's a little too much about that, but, I'm kind of sick and tired of this. But anyways, back to the show, ladies and gentlemen.
My brother says that I am brainwashing James into believing that he is a girl.
Because you are. You are brainwashing him to be a girl. You don't want him to be a boy. You want him to view what you claim that he is. But what if he's actually a boy just playing along to make mommy happy?
As soon as I mentioned he could be gay, it started to become an issue for my parents and my brother. My mother took away all dolls.
Your mother started to realize that I was changing sides.
Okay, first off, is this James actually living with you or living with a mother at this point? Because it sounds like he's living with his grandmother and only visits the mother. And It could be vice versa. I don't know. But here's the thing. The boy says it looks like that his grandmother is realizing he's changing sides. And it's like, well, it's not necessarily that you're changing sides. It's the fact that you're being brainwashed to basically go against what your nature is. Now, I understand how, even the fact that the mother pointed out the possibility of her son being gay, you can't be gay. I mean, to be honest, I'm sorry, forgive me, but that he could be gay and then claimed, oh, well, and then my brother and mother lost it. And it's, duh! Of course they lost it. You are changing and putting these ideas into this kid's head. I mean, to be honest, that's not your job. I mean, yeah, it is your job. Forgive me. It is your job. But to help him know who he is, but he's 4 years old. He doesn't even know what the heck how to have a child yet. And let's say he stays as a female and all the way into adulthood. He's going to wonder why he cannot reproduce. There's a reason why.
Yeah.
And she took it away from me, and it was really not nice.
At age 4, I dyed Bella's hair pink, and they forcibly held him down and scrubbed the color out of his hair. They told Bella when they scrubbed the color out of his hair that he was hurting Jesus.
Okay, so I have no clue whether or not I should take this lady serious because, I mean, to be honest, I want to be impartial. I want to just basically see what's going on. But this woman is driving me crazy. I've been working on this video for a little bit now, watching these clips, and I want to drink. I'm sorry. This woman literally, I think, has it out for her relatives because she's claiming that basically her brother and mother basically handled him, basically like forced him to get his hair cleaned. Now, I do not know what happened when it came to that, but I highly doubt they would physically hold him and basically clean out his hair, and while doing their claims that he's hurting Jesus. I'm like, but I highly doubt he even knows who Jesus is, besides of he's someone that his family believe in. I mean, come on, to be honest, I get a sense of spite from her, like the fact that she mentioned that he could be gay. Nobody knows if they're gay or not until they're basically well into their adulthood. Because, I mean, sometimes they do even when they're in teenagers, but that's a whole nother can of worms. But I just feel like that this woman just keeps doing jabs at her brother and mother on purpose. I don't believe these are just like innocent remarks. I believe these are remarks to basically jab at her family and basically irritate the crowd out of them to a point that they react to what she's doing. And you know what? They may have had her had James basically clean his hair out or been trying to get that dye out. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. I would want that garbage out of my son's hair too, because you literally just damaged his hair. I'm like, come on. They say that even dyeing your hair once damages your hair. He's a 4-year-old. Come on. Anyhow.
My parents and my brother have released statements to CPS that it sickens them to watch what I have done to him. They have suggested to CPS that Bella is removed from my custody. My parents and my brother have traumatized Bella and tried to take her away from me. So I decided to cut my parents and my brother out of our life until they can change.
And here we go. Basically, it's my way or the highway. Lady, to be honest, I'm not liking you too much. I am very sorry. But to be honest, none of these seem to be more than emotional jabs. I can understand that they probably conveyed concern about how the boy is being raised. They probably have issued concern about that. I want to put it past them. I would too. However, just the fact to say, oh, it sickens me. They probably have said that they have concerns. They don't like where things are going. They believe that you're brainwashing them. I understand. You don't like the fact you got CPS called on you. However, if there's actual concern and they think you are devastating his mentality, no offense, but you have to deal with it. I mean, it's your family. Now that basically you're punishing your family until they are willing to accept your terms is not realistic. You are literally forcing them to you're basically saying that shove it up where the light don't shine, literally. Or it's like you can either go with the program or leave, which is, no offense, a very far leftist thought process, if you don't mind me throwing that out there.
Okay, thanks for being here. At this point, there is a big fracture between you and the family, right?
Yes, a huge one.
And tell me what you think the basis of this is.
They think that I have brainwashed my child into believing that, that he is a girl. They think that I created this. The words that they have used is I had a secret agenda to feminize my son.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they believe that because the way you are acting. I mean, you look in the world today. What is it about? Oh, it's about getting rid of toxic masculinity. I'm sorry, people. Blah. But here's the thing. How are they trying to do it? By feminizing our little boys. So you feminize boys, and they claim that you might be doing that. You might be having this secret agenda. And I do understand how you put it in that light. It does kind of sound conspiratorial. However, they have the right to point out something they are observing, and it correlates what's going on in our country today. You are trying to get this boy to think he's a girl, and basically they want you to understand that that's actually not the case. Sorry about that, people. I'm very just basically like fidgety. So basically, they want you to understand basically the truth. Yeah, in another video, your husband calls them, says that your brother can spread his ignorance. Like, come on! Really? Ignorance? Really? To be honest, the only ignorant run, I don't know. I don't know if ignorance, or maybe it's just arrogance, but I feel like something emanating is off of you, and I don't think it's ignorance. I think it's more arrogance than anything, but who knows?
And what would be your motive for that? What do they attribute that? Why do they think you would want to do that?
I honestly don't know. I
mean,
don't
why
know.
would you care one way or the other, boy, girl? Why would you care one way or the other? What's their theory?
You know, that's the problem, is that we don't care. We just wanted to love the kid for who she was, and I don't know why they think that we have an agenda to somehow persuade it either way.
But they have to be.
Okay, Dr. Phil really coming out with some pretty good questions in my opinion. Now he's asking the couple here about the child and about whether or not or not it matters. And they're basically trying to say it doesn't matter, but I don't believe them. I believe that they're trying to, at least the mother's trying to pull the whole victim card, like, oh, woe is me, my child, he was a he, but now he wants to be a she. And basically and they're both saying, oh, we don't know why they think we have this agenda. Probably because you've caught communications with them. You're basically to the point of it's my way or the highway, and your family members are trying to tell you that's not the case when he's around there. He's around at your mother's and brother's place. He acts like a boy, like he was born to. Yet whenever he comes home, he acts like a girl. Think about it, lady. I'm sorry, but think about it. It's like you want to love him the way that you want to, and in that case, you want to love him as a she, but you can't, because he is going to only hit the points that you want him to hit, and he may not truly be happy. I mean, if he reached into teenage years and then made a decision like that, I would want him to get therapy, to go through therapy and to actually hash out reasons why he feels like this. I mean, come on, people. There's been people out there who does the transition and then transitions back because they realize that they basically realize the truth. They realize something that they never thought about before, like other mental disorders.
Attributing some motive to it. Why do they think that you would want to do this?
Maybe for attention.
All right, and so your brother Daniel, and he's here and he'll be out in a little bit, and he's listening to everything we're talking about, so he'll be up to speed. But he tells us that he thinks you're grooming your child. So not just that you're recognizing this, but that you're actually grooming him, programming the boy to want to be a girl.
Bella has always been the way that she is since she's been able to, verbalize what it is that, that she liked. And we have always just supported her. And for the longest time, my family just kind of, pretended that it wasn't real, that it wasn't there. But when they couldn't deny it anymore, then it was, you caused it to be this way.
You caused it to be this way. I do understand this is how your brain filters information, and I do understand that's how you're perceiving all of this. I just want to just keep in mind the fact that I don't think necessarily your mother wanted to basically quote unquote blame you for it. However, with the boy living with the grandma and the uncle for some time, he always exhibited certain behaviors, and I know the next video after this was technically supposed to be the video I showed first. So I apologize, everyone. But, so anyways, I do apologize. And how else do you expect them to make sense of this? I mean, it doesn't seem like I would be willing to bet you never talk to them about his interests. Be like, oh, well, do you know one thing I find weird is that he likes all these bright colors and he dresses up. And your mother who is older than you, who has who raised at least 2 children, will most likely say, oh, well, he's probably just dressing up. This is just a phase that boys usually go through. And to be honest, it is a phase. I mean, to be honest, a lot of boys, especially later, like when they get a little older, they question who they are. So, and it's normal, and as long as you do not feed into this and you do not encourage it, it usually goes away. Now, I do understand you're probably describing something about how the okay. So, I mean, just basically, what do you expect them to say? I'm sorry, but you are not a mother of multiple children, and they all have grown up. You are basically a young woman who's a mother. And your mother, who has risen children and known children for years, basically tells you that, oh, this is probably and I mean, she probably will tell you if you've talked to her and say that, well, this is just dress up. Don't worry about it. Don't feed into it. Just if he wants to do it, let him do it. Let him explore, whatever. And I understand that. But here's the problem is that I do believe, personally that you are feeding into this, and this is why this issue came about. You cannot feed things into children, or you cannot highly support that. You can't support him to the point of basically changing him before he even hits puberty. Because no offense, that is a form of child abuse, even in my opinion. I mean, come on, lady.
I do believe that my sister has psychologically impaired and groomed my nephew.
Do you want your nails painted?
I want to paint my nails and then I'll let them dry in a place.
When James was living with my parents, there was never any indication that James wanted to be a girl. He saw that I played basketball and he said, I want to play basketball like you. He loved being outdoors, he loved flowers, he loved colors. But he would say, you know, I like the color pink and I like the color purple. My sister, she would hear his interests and it's like, oh, well, since you like colors, you know, you can wear colors. And that's where it began, where, you know, he had nail polish.
Okay, now here we go on a point where it kind of brings out a possibility of a stereotype. Now, there's a stereotype where, you know, girls are the only ones that are supposed to like these bright colors like pink, purple, blue, whatever. That just likes these nice fluorescent colors because it's bright. And boys are basically not too into colors, just, you know, the basics like red, blue, stuff like that. Now, a lot of people have introduced the idea of the guys liking these colors as being gay. And I really do not believe that's the case at any length. I do believe people who may have those interests are probably more going to be either creative or flamboyant. Who knows? But flamboyancy, even if they do develop flamboyancy in the future, it does not mean you're gay or that you're transgender. Also, why on earth did the mother think it would be a good idea to stop painting her son's nails? Forgive me. I'm like, please tell me that. Tell me something that I can at least believe in you, lady, that you have
Later,
some common
James
sense.
moved in with his mom at around the age of 4. Carly's boyfriend at the time had a daughter. They had, you know, already set up princess room for her. TV had the princess show on. And he would see his stepsister in a costume, and he would want to wear the costume that she's wearing.
Okay, so we're already at the point where mother thinks this is a point where the boy wants to be a girl. To be honest, I mean, I don't know a lot in this information right now. However, typically, I think it's just, it could just be experimentation or whatnot, because, boys, I mean, kids in general, they experiment different ways, different things. I mean, just because he watched his, not even stepsister, try on clothes and that are like very colorful and are like princessy, doesn't necessarily mean he wants to be a girl. It just means that he might just be experimenting. I'm going to try my best not to stop at every point. I want to just basically throw this out there.
And when Carly would see James dress up, she did believe that that was considered actions of a boy that wanted to be a girl.
Just look at all the play dresses.
So 1 month before James turns 4 years old, he came over to my parents' house. I was there as well. He looked kind of confused, distraught, and he said, "My mom showed me a video of a 4-year-old little boy getting pills to be a girl, and he had a surgery to go from a boy to a girl. He felt that she was showing him this so that they could do that." And so the next following statement that he made for the first time ever was that, "I don't like myself because I'm not a girl." She believes that he wants to be a girl, and I think that this child wants to make his mother happy.
Okay, thanks for being here, Daniel.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now, do you refer to this child as James and he or Bella and she?
Well, I can identify him as James because I've never met a Bella. I've never been introduced. She never attempted to show me or introduce me. Okay. There's never been any type of,
That's not true.
It is completely. You've never contacted me.
You guys have not been expressing any type of
do
love
I get
towards
to
her at all.
talk, or is this about you guys?
Whatever, man.
I would love to be able to. You've had about 30 minutes of lies that I've already heard.
Okay, so at this point, we're into the actual story, into the mess of it all, basically, in a way. And already there seems to be some dissension, some issues about the problem. Now, Dr. Fell had asked a good question, in my opinion, because he's trying to get an idea of where the father is on this. Now, the father says he always identified his child as James because he never came out and said, "I am Bella." He never was introduced to Bella. Yet the mother and the boyfriend are trying to claim another story for, as you saw. But here's my thing: is if the mother tried saying about text message, and it's like, kids can't send text messages that young. I mean, they can. Some are very small, but why should they? Why should they have to text their father or something? I know it's just a pitiful thing to just kind of comment on, but I just think it's just ridiculous. And the father ends up basically shooting back weekly at them about, also, are you going to talk or am I going to talk? I would like to talk and stuff like that. It just, dude, that's a weak comment. It's a weak thing to just basically go on. So, I mean, I do get your frustration about how you're frustrated about the situation. Yeah, your problem is that you're not shooting back with the right things. And as you will see soon enough, he's going to end up going to Dr. Phil as a referee, basically. So
she was absent within the first 3 to 4 years of his life.
That's not
She
true.
would was splitting up, married, unmarried, living at different places, was unable to fully raise the child. My parents raised him, and I stepped in as well to.
You have never helped raise him. That is not true.
Being ungrateful is one of her greatest qualities.
Well, I mean, you live with your parents. You
Definitely.
don't have a job. Hey, where's your college degree? You live at home. Where's your college degree?
Can I speak, or
I don't know.
I would love to.
You seem like me that you're doing all right.
I appreciate it. I'd just love to be able to speak. I don't remember me getting to talk over them, so can I
go
speak?
ahead.
Or
Yeah, go ahead.
That'd be awesome. Appreciate it. Definitely great.
Spread your ignorance. It's fine.
Is that appropriate for him to be saying to me?
What?
Spread my
your
ignorance.
It's
Spreading
fine.
my
'Cause
ignorance.
you think that we have some agenda
being
to somehow.
ignorant,
No,
then you're
I'd
being
love to
ignorant.
speak. I would love to speak.
Okay,
Literally continue to speak.
You have the floor.
So from the very first stages, when she came back into his life, she started to learn that he liked colors, he liked flowers, he had a wonderful imagination. So from that absentee side, she initially had
You
to
weren't
determine.
there when he was
I would love to
baby.
speak. I would love to speak.
Okay, come on, just say what you want to
like-
say. What are you, delicate?
Oh, there you go, Dr. Phil. Just being like, well, are you delicate? I'm like, yes, Dr. Phil, he is very delicate. You know, his feelings, his lovely feelings are just like, oh, they're encroaching on my speaking time. Oh, I gotta shoot back. I gotta say something. Ah, referee time. Ah. You know what? Bite me. That's how I would feel. Now, here's the thing is, they're both claiming that, but either one of them, that the mother is claiming the father has never been around. The father has been claiming the mother has never been around. And it's who knows what's the truth right here, because we don't have a lot of context. We don't know what information there is that could help prove one side or the other. Now, basically, from what I can tell, is all of them are very childish. I mean, the mother, even how she reacts, is she comes out with these facial expressions like she's very angry, and if I can ascertain what she's thinking, it's more of she's angry because her point of view, her ideology, basically what she considers as her core self, is being attacked, and she must defend it. She is correct. The father is a slime ball. He must be destroyed. And basically the boyfriend and mind you, he's just a boyfriend. There's no marriage between these two. So why the boyfriend has any say whatsoever is beyond me. But the boyfriend was like, spread your ignorance. I'm like, dude, can you just shut up? Can you just close that little boy mouth of yours and be quiet for 5 minutes? You know, just let him have his say, and then you can comment. But I still love how Dr. Phil was like, well, are you delicate? I'm like, yes, Dr. Phil. He is very delicate. Like I said, he's like a flower. And to be honest, I'm just going to say this now. Creativity, colors are not things that are considered quote unquote female traits. Females can have that trait, but like my nephew, he is very artistic. He is very creative. Yeah, he knows he's a boy. He knows he's a kid who's a boy. So he enjoys himself. He enjoys doing all the stuff he loves. So let's get back to the video.
She moves him in. There's already, like I said, a princess house with a princess room, princess clothing. Because she saw those interests, those are now where we gotta go with this situation. That meant so much that was exactly,
Those are his interests. That's what you said.
I would love if I could talk. That'd be awesome.
Can I talk?
Yes.
So you think she legitimately thought that was the interest, but then she closed out any options?
Correct. like showing those explicit videos. You know, when he saw that video, it was almost like she was showing it so that like they were planning on doing that together. I want to make my mom happy. I see what you're showing me, and yes, Mom, we're going to do what you're introducing to me because that's what I want to do for you.
Man, dude, you're on a roll. But I do have to say is he's already in this last piece, in this last segment between the two, between me pausing the videos, we have already come to a point where the father even mentions that, you know, it's like when he moved in with his mother, there was already all these female stuff around. And I believe he hits the nail on the head when he says that, you know, I want to do this for you because I love you. I want your acceptance of me. I want you to love me, so I will do anything for you. And kids have done that for years. I mean, there's been cases where the parents will treat their kids horribly, yet they still seek and hope for an acceptance and love from that parent. And I have to give this guy a really good applause because you really hit something. You hit a nail on the head. Very, very well done. Now just basically keep up with what you're doing because I love how Dr. Phil though too says, "Can I speak?" And I chuckled. But dude, just keep it up. Do not get yourself into that moment of weakness where they can walk all over you.
Carly's mother, Rose, says
What
what Carly is doing is a form of revenge.
Me
And
being something to you is
Rose
not really
is
like
joining us on the phone. So, Rose, are you there?
I am here.
Rose, you say that you think Carly is doing this to this child out of some sort of revenge. Why do you say that?
Revenge in the sense that I don't get to see him in that regard.
You left
That's
him.
not
You took
true.
it from us.
I sent you
No,
a
you
text
didn't.
on
No, you
September
didn't.
20th
No, you didn't.
inviting you to be a part of Bella's life as Bella.
Could y'all let Rose
Never
speak?
got that.
So, do you think she's pushing him to transition from a boy to a girl?
Yes. He's never
True,
asked
people.
to be a
True.
girl. What he does
True.
do, or did do,
True.
was he liked to play dress up.
He did. Loved
And
it.
dress up is not an indicator of anything.
not.
All children play dress
They
up.
all do.
They live in that fascination world.
When he
There was
walked in.
Walked in.
a
Okay.
text
saw him.
message from Carly to Rose and Daniel on September 20th of 18 that said, in February, James transitioned socially from male to female. Her name is Isabella Iris. She goes by Bella. We use she, her pronouns for Bella. This is who she is and who she is meant to be, and I'm doing what any parent should do by supporting her. My hope is someday you will want her in your life. So you did send a text.
This
saying-
is truthful.
Okay.
I really sent this.
Okay. So can-
Yes, Rose, go
Dr.
ahead.
Phil,
Yes.
I'd love to answer this
who did she
question.
send
I'll let
that
you.
to?
All three of you.
She sent it to you and Daniel for sure.
I don't have Carly.
Me neither.
The phone is blocked.
When the court case occurred, there was actually a no contact order that
30 days.
that happened. It.
Okay, that was a little bit before I even paused it. I hope I'm doing this right, guys, because I'm sorry, they only release certain clips on YouTube. Sorry. And basically, I have to put it together in a way that seems more basically flows easier. I do believe certain clips have been omitted, so basically we don't have all the information. Yet we're here at the point of where she mentioned she did send a text message, and Dr. Phil did say that she had sent it, But here's the problem: is if the court, you go through the court cases and the court says you cannot contact each other for 30 days, then how do you expect them to receive a text message saying that, oh well, Bella our son is going to be now a girl that's going to be our daughter that's going to be named Bella? Okay then, but here's the problem: who gives you the right to make that motion? It's both you and the biological father's responsibility of raising this child. You do not have sole purpose, sole, basically, just sole, how do you say in English? You do not do these decisions that are life altering without the other parent involved. You just don't, because then you're eventually falling into the whole child abuse. And that's the thing. Children will do what their parents want. If their parents want you to beat up a kid, if it's going to give you that love and support that you desire from that parent, you're going to do it. I mean, it's not that difficult, people. Holy sugar honey.
Carly says 10 months ago, her family's disapproval of Bella's transition came to a head. Take a look.
Bella's father and I separated in 2015, and then I got remarried to Bradley in 2017. At the end of 2017, Bella's father passed away.
James stayed with us the whole week so that my sister could, prepare for the funeral. At that time, she had purchased him pink shoes, pink coat, and girls' underwear. My sister noticed when he showed up at the funeral that he was wearing what's considered a boy's coat, boy's shoes.
Then my brother started screaming at us, calling us names.
That incited my sister to start punching me in the face. And then Bradley punched me in the face. My sister, her husband, began to try to run out the house with the kids and said, James, you're never gonna see your grandparents again, and you're never gonna see your uncle again, let's go. And he was kicking and screaming.
Because the children were present during the fight, CPS has come to my house twice. My parents and my brother are trying to destroy my family and make Bella be the type of person that they want her to be.
What did you think about the last part of that tape?
Oh my goodness.
You didn't.
Okay, so I have some corrections I need to make. I do apologize. I was basically going in this pretty blind, but apparently the situation is that this woman has a child with basically this guy's brother. Now, the uncle of the boy is basically trying to stand up and support the boy. However, the grandmother is trying to support the boy, support James as a boy. Okay, that's understandable. That's normal. However, just the way how the woman talked and stuff, I just feel like as if she is trying to fill a particular void. Now, I thought this other guy was just a boyfriend. Apparently, this guy is a husband. So I have no clue what this woman's basically trying to do. I mean, she's basically jumping into these relationships pretty quickly, it seems like, at least from what the information I've seen. Now, obviously you could tell at one point in the video that the uncle was fighting with his sister, and the newly husband, and apparently, I mean, so the mother is here with her husband. Across from her is her brother, and on the phone was her mother. Now, it's understandable to think that, she's doing this out of spite. It is very possible. Or it could be, too, she desires a daughter. And for some reason, she doesn't want to give birth to a daughter, she wants to change the boy as a daughter. I can only guess, because sometimes when someone has a void that needs to be filled, they will do what they can in order to fill that void. So basically, Dr. Phil, something needs to happen here, Dr. Phil, because it's like, Dr. Phil, please straighten this woman out. I mean, the problem is we already have the course that basically sides with the mother practically most of the time, unless there's some reason that she's unfit. So we already have a court system that supports the mothers and will penalize the fathers, all because they're male. So I'm sorry, I don't mean to get into this rant, but let's get to this other piece here.
Carly's brother Daniel says his 6-year-old nephew's desire to be a girl is from his mother's misguided parenting. But Carly and Bradley say they'll do whatever it takes to support their son's transition. Now, joining us is Dr. Charles Sophie, who is on the Dr. Phil Advisory Board and is board certified in 3 clinical specialties: adult psychiatry and child-adolescent psychiatry and family practice, as well as being the medical director for the Department of Child and Family Services here in LA, which is the largest agency in the entire country.
And here we go, bringing in the specialist. Now, here's the thing is, I mean, to be honest, I don't know why I'm continuing, because there's apparently quite a bit of information missing between this video clip and the previous video clip that was before this one. Not that I put in, but the ones that they've recorded and put on YouTube. And its problem is that now psychology, there's a psychology paper that out, or some kind of book or some kind of outline that is basically now kind of like a very, very anti-psychiatry kind of way of thinking. So basically, if you want to be a psychologist or psychiatrist, this piece of like almost like a how do you call it? Basically, this thing that basically helps drives the focal point of psychiatry and psychology is going to be highly influenced by this far leftist ideology that basically has been released. And now it's like, it's going to force a lot of people to start really having to obey this instead of really going for the truth and sticking with the truth. It's like, Lord help mercy. I'm so tired of this. But let's get it over with.
Dr. Sophie, thank you for being here. Do you want to say anything generally based on what you've seen so far?
Yes. I just think that it's important for you to make sure that none of this conversion treatment camp residual that you have is driving any of that. Because I think that's probably what he's trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. And just be clear about it. Mm-hmm. Trust me, it'll come out if it's being forced, okay?
I do just want to say one statement that was not the beginning statement, how they started having conversations of transgenderism. That was post-video conversation. Really. I'm just saying that they're saying that that's how it all began to be.
Rest assured, they're doing the right thing.
That's not
okay?
how
You weren't there.
Rest assured,
later
they're
on.
doing the
Okay,
right thing.
we've got to take a break. I said I wanted to say some things in defense of Daniel. And quite seriously, what I mean by that is if, and again, I'm saying this hypothetically, if someone was taking a child and trying to brainwash them, program them, really confuse them into being someone they're not, you would have real reason for concern, and I would really expect you to raise the alarm.
Correct.
And really wave the flags. I mean, that would be a very valid thing to do. I mean, anyone would do that. And I think I think you're very sincere in your concern. So I don't think you're just trying to be oppositional here. I don't think that you're bigoted about this or whatever. I think you're uninformed about a lot of things, but I don't think that you're just trying to be a problem here. I think your concern is sincere. The good news for you is, if you think that she's trying to talk this child into that, she's wasting her time, because that will never happen. That will never happen, and it will come out.
Do you believe that there is a certain time that will happen?
It starts at about 3, when a child knows, they have a deep sense of gender identity at about 3 years of age. And as long as you keep options available, and they're always available, the main thing is that this child grow up surrounded by love, whoever and whatever they choose to be,
Agreed.
however they choose to live, that they don't grow up with anger, judgment from anybody in the family. It's tough enough to grow up without half of the family being angry, rejecting, all of these things. A child needs to grow up being loved 360 degrees, regardless.
And this is where we get to the cautiousness of the whole situation. And I do get it, and I know Dr. Phil is a huge supporter of the transgenders and stuff, and he solely basically is what people a lot of times call as an ally of transgenderism, and tries to support them in the decisions they want. My only issue with Dr. Phil is love and acceptance is one thing. However, you still need to train your kid in the way they should go. They shouldn't be having to find their own way. They need the parents and other adults in their lives to show them the way that they ought to go. Now, if the mother is basically forcing this on the kid, I do agree. I would have to say it doesn't matter, because if the mother has already said that they had multiple times talked about this, so basically, what if that meant that she kept asking him and asking him and asking him and asking him, not necessarily multiple times in one day, but multiple times throughout some amount of months, just because of she noticed this. And so she basically, when she brought it up, kid probably laughed it off, say, "No, I'm a boy," and she'll be like, "Are you sure?" And basically, when you manipulate and you brainwash people, you don't do it once and then it's over. No, you do it over and over and over, basically lying to them multiple times, or getting them to question themselves multiple times, until he or she gives in. That's how manipulation starts. That's how brainwashing starts. Everybody knows the younger you start with brainwashing, the easier it is to mold their minds. And that's why, like, say, for example, you see a TV shows, in order to brainwash someone that is already like in the late teens, early adults, the TV shows, even though they're fictional, will show that you have to basically break their sense of identity by basically shattering their psyche. So that's basically where I'm coming from. I mean, I do agree, love and acceptance. However, what's more important than acceptance is training. Teaching this kid who he is as a human being. Training this boy on the way he should go. Yeah, okay, I understand identity can start at age 3. However, that's not rock solid science. Psychiatry in itself is not science. It is a lot of times a guesswork. It is not like cement science. It's ever flowing, ever fluid, ever changing. It's the same thing with medical science. Medical science is only concrete up to a certain point, and then it's more fluid, more abstract than it is concrete and solid.
Regardless of what they are and what they say they want to be. And shame on anybody that is not providing that 24/7. That child needs to grow up with love and acceptance. I mean, if they come in with a pirate hat on, then love them with a pirate hat on. If they come in with a dress on, love them with a dress on. And they will work it out. Just make sure they have lots of options and understand that they're free to choose and re-choose and change their choosing. And as long as you do that, then...
Okay, this is where I will reiterate again. What's more important than acceptance is training. Is basically, okay, I understand that you want to give him options. You leave your options open. Here's the and I do understand, because I'm sure there's been some cases that have been, okay, you react negatively towards them because they may like dolls instead of trucks, and you're like, no boy of mine is going to play with dolls. I'm sure there's been cases where that happens and the boy ends up going far towards the gay or even transgender realms than as the heterosexual boy or man when they grow up. Anyways, this woman, just looking at her, she's verbally accepting and agreeing with him, but she's also slouching. So she's basically, I mean, in a way, she's putting herself distance, no matter how little, between her and Dr. Phil, and you see that little, like a smirk, like a look. If you look at her mouth moved a little bit to her right. So basically, in a way, feeling disgust, but also feeling like she looks like she's eating crow. Because that's what her body language to me looks like, that she's eating crow, she's not liking where this is going, and Dr. Phil is just basically like, you know what, you guys cut the garbage when it comes to this battle. He's basically saying, you know what, if he chooses to be a girl, he's going to choose to be a girl, even if he's an adult. If he chooses, that's when he chooses, that's what he chooses. But here's the problem with that, is the fact that if you do not train the child into how to be a proper human being, that basically goes hand in hand with your identity. So basically, if you want him to be a perfect gentleman, you got to treat him as a boy growing into a man. You cannot force him to live a particular lifestyle, like always, like dressing up and basically going at the child multiple times over and over, and having these deep conversations that he's not even understanding of. Like, come on! I think sometimes we give kids a little too less credit when we should give them more credit, and we give kids too much credit when we shouldn't give them as much credit.
Just support the child's choices and stop making them a battleground. That's all I'm saying. This child will find where she needs to be. And if right now her sense is Bella, then love her being Bella. And if 2 years from now she says, that's where I wanted to be, but now I want to be James, then love James. Just love the child for being whoever they are and stop all of this other.
Yes, we are at the end. We are at the end of this clip, and we can just survive. I can just basically relax. Sorry about that, folks. I'm just really glad that we're finally at the end of this nonsense. I mean, the whole situation is not nonsense necessarily. In a way it is, in a way it isn't. And here's what I mean about it is or it /it isn't. Now, I do understand where Dr. Phil's coming from, and I commend him for basically saying, you guys knock it off, basically, is what, in a way, I'm reading this. He's basically saying, knock it off, basically trying to warn, basically in a nice way, trying to warn them, saying that, look, if you do not knock this off, it is going to affect your relationship with this child when he gets older. Now, here's the thing, and when you notice when he mentioned that if James wants to be Bella, a child wants to be Bella, then love the child as Bella. And you can tell when they showed the mother, she's not leaning so far back anymore. Now she's gravitating more towards the center of the chair, which means that she's agreeing with Dr. Phil, but also means that she is accepting what Dr. Phil is saying because it basically promotes where she's coming from. It promotes her narrative in a way. It promotes her beliefs. It promotes what she's been saying. And I don't think the others are basically leaning away from Dr. Phil. They're just basically accepting that, okay, this is what Dr. Phil's saying. We will listen to him. But the mother, I believe, is more into what she wants and she desires for her child and not what is right for her child. Too many people, especially those that are very young, too many of them are too idealistic. They look at everything. They look at basically they look at what they want in their child, and they're like, oh, my child should do this and that and the third, but they don't realize that their child may have their own things they want to do. And in a way, the mother wants her child to be like, oh, let's just go ahead and be transgender. But the problem is that especially what the uncle and grandmother was trying to say is he's not showing any of those symptoms around them. They understand that he likes these colors and likes these things, but he's not into what the mother's claiming he's into. So, I mean, I could go on for hours, to be honest, but I'm going to stop because I am tired. This whole video basically wore me out. So I will end it like this right here. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, if your child is wondering whether he or she, whether the boy is a boy, if the boy is debating whether or not he's a boy or a girl, or the girl is debating whether she's a girl or a boy, don't feed into it. Don't just be like, just basically, I mean, you can let them do what they want, or you can basically guide them and just see where they go. For example, if the boy is showing interest in bright colors and really feminine things, it's not the end of the world depending on their age. Now, if it's 4 years old and playing dress up, then let him play dress up. Who cares? But if he's basically like, otherwise he wants to just be a boy, then just leave him be. Do not think that, because he likes this one thing or these few things, that he's a transgender. He's not. Usually, you have to wait until they get close to puberty and then see how they act. Now, if they do lash out and say, "I'm not a boy, I'm a girl," then and if he goes like that for 6 months, that's the first indicator of basically gender dysphoria, or what's been renamed as transgenderism. So, with that, you guys, have a good one, You guys take care, and I hope you guys have a good day or night wherever you are. God bless you. I love you. May God be with you and give you understanding and wisdom. Bye-bye.